Hello, my name is Brian David. Today I'm here to talk to you about the global climate crisis. This message today is going out to Americans in the urban, suburban, and rural areas that directly affect and are affected by the global climate crisis. What we know about the climate crisis is urgent. It's so urgent that some of the things we only have a few years to change. The number one reason for the climate crisis is carbon pollution. Now, this is man-made. This is between the last 50 and say 150 years that we've been polluting the earth for what we need as people. This is burning fossil fuels. So whenever that you be it your electric plants that are burning coal, or your car that you drive to work every day, or driving little Joey to soccer practice. In 2013, CO2 levels surpassed 400 parts per million for the first time in history, according to the Climate Reality Project. We know that these gases contribute to the greenhouse effect. NASA lists them as water vapor, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and methane. As I stated earlier, human activities in the last 150 years have seen the carbon levels go up from 280 parts per million to 412 parts per million, causing the Earth's temperature to increase in the last 50 years. This is according to NASA. The World Health Organization, said climate change is among the greatest health risks in the 21st century. Think about that for a moment. Climate change is the greatest health risk, not cancer, not obesity, not heart disease, but climate change. They also go on to say rising temperatures and extreme weather have shown increase in transmission and the spread of infectious diseases. If you think about what we're going through right now with the COVID-19 pandemic, and I'm 47 years old, and I've never gone through something like this before, and the data is there to support a rising temperature on Earth, maybe, just maybe, that has something to do with how bad this pandemic is. If we don't do something now, our grandkids and great-grandkids will not have a future on this earth. We have forest fires that are getting worse every year. If you look at Australia's last fall and last summer, how bad their fire was, engulfing almost their whole country. According to the UN.org, extinction rate is at an all-time high. 1 million species are threatened with extinction, most caused by humans. If we look at the stakeholders involved with the global climate crisis, there are many. To name a few, we talk about local, state, and federal governments, energy companies, and of course, we the people. For government, they're the ones that are going to be making the laws, they're going to be passing the laws, and ultimately upholding the laws. When we look into the energy companies, it gets pretty complicated. We ask ourselves, how can they evolve to clean energy? We still have so many coal burning plants in this country. We can't just have plants closing down, people on unemployment. It's not going to work. We're going to have to evolve to nuclear, wind, solar, all the clean energy we can do, and get away from the coal burning plants. As far as we the people, the number one thing we need is education. And that's where my innovation comes in. I'm developing a mobile app that will educate, reward, and save you money, and ultimately help save the planet. First, we want to educate. And I know you're saying, Brian, we have so many websites out there, so many apps out there. that are out there to educate us right now. And I will agree, there's a lot out there. It's true. But I'm not seeing a change, right? Not fast enough. Not the way that my app will educate. The first feature I want to talk about is going to show you how you are helping or how you're hurting the planet by what you do in your day-to-day life. And we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're way, way, way past that. It's gonna You're gonna input how you live your day-to-day life, and like for instance, if you have a programmable thermostat, if you recycle, what kind of food you buy, and what your transportation is, and so on. Then it will start to educate you on how you can do better in your day-to-day living. For example, on your location setting on your phone, it's going to know when you're near a grocery store. It's going to recommend regional food, local food. And then it will also recommend economically friendly businesses in the areas you're traveling to. Public transit areas, as you approach them, the app's going to alert you with coupon codes for either public transportation, rideshare apps. There will also be a feature that will send daily tips on small things you can do to change your lifestyle to help with the climate crisis. The second feature we want to talk about in the app is the rewards program. We'll begin a section on your app where, say, you go grocery shopping. We're going to have a partnership with your local grocery stores. And what you will do is, as you're shopping, you can scan the food into the app, and it's going to let you know how good for the environment and the climate crisis the food is. Whether you're buying local and regional food from local farmers, or say I'm in Michigan, if I'm buying Michigan strawberries or apples in the summertime. Or maybe I choose some bananas that are 5,000 miles away and they're coming by ship to California. And once they get to California, they're going to semi those all the way over here to Michigan. It's going to tell you how each purchase is going to impact the climate. For example, when talking about those bananas, we talked about methane being one of the key factors in the climate change. According to the Environmental Defense Fund, methane is 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide. 84 more times potent. So the reason for this is, as it's leaking from the oil fields or from the gas fields, it absorbs the sun's heat, warming the atmosphere. That's why it's so dangerous. The largest source of man-made emissions is the oil and gas companies. About 25% of the man-made global warming that we're experiencing is caused by methane emissions. So that's a quarter of all of it, right? So those bananas that you're considering purchasing from your local Midwest grocery store, it's going to cause a great increase in methane into the environment, as opposed to purchasing some local fruit that will travel shorter distance to get to your store. The third part of the app is going to show you how you can save money, right? This is great. Everybody wants to save money. I love save money. Everything I do, right? So with those relationships that we developed with our grocery stores and with your local pharmacies, the better and smarter you shop, the more money you're going to save on your next grocery trip, right? It's not tied in for groceries only, but things in your daily life as well. Your programmable thermostat, your smart lights that you can set on settings, right, when they go off, or if you recycle daily. And finally, your mode of transportation. You ride a bike to work, you're going to get a pretty good tax break. Or say you live in an urban setting and you walk to work, right? Same thing. Maybe you take public transportation or ride share. You're going to get some very, very good tax breaks. We want to show you that you can make a pretty big impact by the choices that you make. So to recap the app, we want to educate you, we want to reward you, and we want to help you save some money. all while helping save the planet, right? Because that's the main goal here. The app is going to cost you nothing, free. Sure, there's going to be some premium content in there, maybe some recipes and some other stuff. So that's going to be launching in the next 4 months, along with working with the federal government, local municipalities on passing those other laws and pollution bills. Late 2020, end of the year, is going to be a ranking system. And I thought this was pretty fun when my partners came to me with this one. So you and your squad, you and your friends will be able to have competing rankings to see who is doing better, maybe your neighbor or whatnot, who is doing better living this lifestyle, right? So it's a great, great fun thing you can do. Timeline. So we talked about that the next 4 months. Countrywide launch, right? 2021, we want to launch it worldwide to those, shall we say, the well-off countries. We're not looking at developing countries right now, and that's how we want to launch this app. My vision for to take back the future on this climate price: clean water. I want to walk around. I want a future for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids. I want to have conversation with friends without the global climate crisis coming up in that conversation. And this is totally possible. Is it going to take sacrifice? Absolutely. But we can make this happen. Thank you.